Now, generally accepted accounting principles, otherwise known as GAAP. In order to maintain uniformity and consistency in accounting records, we have to follow certain rules or principles that have been developed, which are known as generally accepted or which are generally accepted by accounting profession. As we have already discussed, accounting is a language of business. So we have to know, say for example, suppose English. So हमको उसका grammatical rule क्या है चाहिए. In the same way, accounting also some rules have been developed, and they have been developed to make uniformity in our accounting work. अदरवाइज क्या होगा, मैं कुछ अकाउंटिंग बनाया, दूसरा एक अकाउंटेंट देखना तो कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि मैं एक रास्ता में कर रहा है, ये दूसरा रास्ता में कर रहा है. ऐसा नहीं होना है. देयर शुड बी यूनिफॉर्मिटी. इसलिए हम सर्टन प्रिंसिपल डेवलप हो गया, इसका बोलेगा जनरली एक्सेप्टेड अकाउंटिंग प्रिंसिपल्स. एंड दिस प्रिंसिपल्स और रूल्स आर कॉल्ड बाय डिफरेंट नेम्स. इसका प्रिंसिपल बोल सकता है, प्रिंसिपल्स or concepts, conventions, postulates, assumptions, and modifying principles. Now, the term principle has been defined by AICPA as a general law or rule adopted or professed as to guide action, a settled ground or basis of conduct or practice. The generally simply means in a general manner, that is, pertaining to many persons or seasons or occasions. So, generally accepted accounting principles refers to the rules or guidelines adopted for recording and reporting of business transactions in order to bring uniformity in the preparation and the presentation of financial statements. क्योंकि हम ऑलरेडी बोल दिया यूनिफॉर्मिटी चाहिए, नहीं तो एक अकाउंटेंट क्या कर रहा है, दूसरा अकाउंटेंट क्या कर रहा है, किसी को समझ में नहीं आएगा. सो यूनिफॉर्मिटी शुड बी देयर. इसलिए हम डेवलप हो गया गैप, जनरली एक्सेप्टेड अकाउंटिंग प्रिंसिपल्स. दे आर ओनली रूल्स और गाइडलाइंस adopted for recording and reporting of business transactions. Clear? Now, these principles, this gap, are also referred as concepts and conventions. Concept simply refers to the necessary assumptions and ideas which are fundamental to accounting practice. And the term convention connotes customs or traditions as a guide to the preparation of accounting statements. That means GAAP normally includes concepts as well as conventions. But nowadays we are using both these interchangeably. Certain persons are what we say them concepts, others are saying is conventions, like that. So we are using it as interchangeably. Now, what are these concepts? We can learn the different concepts which we are following while we are recording transactions and maintaining our business. These basic accounting concepts are, first of all, business entity concept, then money measurement concept, going concern concept, accounting period concept, cost concept, dual aspect concept or duality concept, revenue recognition concept or revenue realization concept, matching concept, full disclosure concept, consistency concept, conservatism or prudence concept, materiality concept, and objectivity concept. Now see what is business entity concept. This concept says that business has a distinct and separate entity from its owners. That means in the eye of accountant or in the eye of law, business is a separate person and having separate existence apart from its owners. Simply means owners and business are treated as two separate persons. ये दोनों अलग अलग person हैं. Okay. So for accounting purpose, the business and its owners are to be treated as two separate entity. तो इसलिए suppose owners कुछ लेना है business से, he has taken something. So ये भी हम record करना है क्योंकि we are treating the owner as a separate person. He is separate from the business. Next is money measurement concept. This concept says that only those transactions and happenings which can be expressed in terms of money, expressed in monetary terms, will be recorded in the books of account. That means if any transaction or happening cannot be recorded in terms of money, that we will not record in the books of account. So whatever transaction happening, पहले हम उसमें मनी में मेजरमेंट करना है. से फॉर एग्जाम्पल सपोज हम 1 बैग राइस खरीद दिया, इसमें 50 किलोग्राम है, बट हम अकाउंटिंग में 50 किलोग्राम नहीं लिख रहा है, इसका दाम कितना हम पेमेंट किया, मनी वी हैव टू मेजर इन मनी एंड विल बी रिकॉर्डेड इन द बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स. नेक्स्ट इज गोइंग कंसर्न कंसेप्ट. दिस कंसर्न states that a business would continue to carry out its operations indefinitely. That means going concern concept says that a business have indefinite life. That means we are believing that business will continue indefinitely, that is for a fairly long period of time, and would not be liquidated, means would not be died in the foreseeable future. Business actually we are living with the expectation that we will live long. In the same way we are doing business also. We are not thinking that our business मर जाएगा, next year मर जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं सोचेगा. Business having indefinite life. Next is accounting period concept. हम अभी बोला business, we are thinking, we are assuming that business has indefinite life. Okay, so either there is an importance of this concept, accounting period concept. Accounting period refers to the span of time at the end of which the financial statements of an enterprise are prepared to know whether it has earned profit or incurred losses during that particular period of time, and what exactly is the position of its assets and liabilities at the end of that period. So business having indefinite life. सो उस समय तक हम कुछ अकाउंट नहीं प्रिपेयर किया, कितना प्रॉफिट मिला, कितना लॉस मिला, वी कैन नॉट अंडरस्टैंड. इसलिए वी आर फॉलोइंग दिस प्रिंसिपल अकाउंटिंग पीरियड कंसेप्ट. सो एज पर दिस कंसेप्ट वी आर प्रिपेयरिंग अ financial statement at a regular intervals, normally after a period of 1 year, so that timely information is made available to various stakeholders or users. This interval of time is called accounting period. So as per accounting period, we are preparing our statements, financial statements, normally at the end of each year to know whether we made some profit or loss for that particular period of time, and to know the exact position of our assets and liabilities. Next is cost concept. Cost concept requires that all assets should be recorded in its cost. The assets should be recorded in the books of account in its cost and not market value. The cost includes normally the purchase price of that asset and the cost of acquisition, any transportation, installation charges, वट एवर रिलेटेड. कब हम एक एसेट परचेज कर रहे हैं, उसके लिए परचेज करने टाइम हम क्या क्या पेमेंट किया. से फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम परचेज किया थोड़ा दूर से 50 किलोमीटर अवे, सो उधर से हम कितना पेमेंट किया, दैट इज कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन और परचेज प्राइस. देन वी हैव टू ट्रांसपोर्ट इट फ्रॉम देयर टू हियर, दैट इज ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट ऑल्सो इंक्लूड. वंस इट इज हियर वी हैव टू इंस्टॉल द मशीन, इसका एक्सपेंस, दिस टोटल एक्सपेंस विल कम इंक्लूड इन द कॉस्ट ऑफ दैट asset, and this cost is known as historical cost. It should be recorded in the books of account, and normally We are recording it in cost, so it will not change, the value will not change from year to year. Next is dual aspect concept. This is very important concept or principle which we are following while we are recording the transaction. This is the foundation or basic principle of accounting. It provides the very basis for recording business transaction in the books of account. This concept states that every transaction has dual or twofold effects and therefore be recorded at two places. So ये principle बोल रहा है every transaction has two aspect or two effects. एक रिसीविंग एस्पेक्ट है, एक गिविंग एस्पेक्ट है. रिसीविंग एस्पेक्ट तो हम नॉर्मली बोल रहे हैं डेबिट एस्पेक्ट, गिविंग एस्पेक्ट तो हम बोल रहे हैं क्रेडिट एस्पेक्ट. एंड बोथ ऑफ दीज एस्पेक्ट्स शुड बी रिकॉर्डेड at two separate places. This duality, this is also known as duality principle. This duality is commonly expressed in terms of fundamental accounting equation, which is asset equal to liability plus capital. This is our basic accounting equation, asset equal to liability plus capital. So this equation states that the assets of a business are always equal to the capital, that means claim of owners, as well as liabilities, that means claim of outsiders. So this is the basis. This is very important. You have to remember dual aspect concept is very important. This is the foundation or the basic principle of accounting, because we are recording the transaction by following this dual aspect concept. This concept says that every transaction happening has two effects, debit and credit. Next is revenue recognition or realization concept. This principle or concept says that the revenue for a business transaction should be included in the accounting records only when it is realized. Revenue should be recorded only when it is realized. So, what is revenue? Revenue is the gross inflow of cash arising from its operations, and it is assumed to be realized when a legal right to receive it arises. That is the point of time when goods have been sold or service have been recorded. That means whether you make the payment or not, but once you receive the right of goods, once you sold the goods, maybe you are getting amount later, but once you sold the goods, it is regarded as revenue is assumed to be realized. So at the time of making the transaction itself, you have to record it in the books of account, that is revenue recognition or realization concept. Next is matching concept. Matching concept states that the expenses incurred by the business concerned in a concerned accounting period should be matched with its revenue during that period. That means revenue and expenses should be matched. Otherwise, revenue and expenses incurred to an revenue must belong to the same accounting period. So, as we have last principle, we told revenue is recognized when a sale is complete or service is rendered, irrespective of cash receipt. Similarly, an expense is recognized not when cash is paid, but when an asset or service has been used to generate revenue. Say for example, रेवेन्यू बनाया 20,000 रुपीज़, उसमें हमारा एम्प्लॉय को सैलरी देना था 6,000, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पेमेंट करना था 1,000. ये दोनों हम पेमेंट नहीं किया. Even if it is not paid, that expense, that salary and electricity charges is related with this revenue, so it should record at the time of recording that revenue itself. Clear? Next is full disclosure concept. This concept states that the financial statements makes a full, fair and educated disclosure of all information, means all material facts should be disclosed in the financial statements as well as its accompanying footnote. Means all the material facts related with our accounting should be disclosed. Next is consistency concept. This concept states that the whatever accounting policies and practices we are following are uniform and inconsistent over the period of time. Then only interfirm and intrafirm comparison is possible. So कभी कभी हम हमारा पॉलिसी एज वेल एज प्रैक्टिसेस शुड नॉट बी चेंज नहीं करना है. एक पॉलिसी हम अडॉप्ट किया, इट शुड बी कंटिन्यू फॉर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. दैट इज कंसिस्टेंसी concept. Next is conservatism or prudence concept. It is based on the policy of playing safe. As per this concept, we should make a conscious approach in ascertaining income so that profits of the enterprise are not overstated. That means we should not disclose the expected income. Once we have got the income or realize the income, then only that should be recorded in the books. That means it requires that profits should not be recorded until realized. But all losses, even those which may have a remote possibility, are to be provided for in the books of account. कुछ लॉस का चांस है तो if there is chance also we have to record, but profit should not be recorded like that. That principle is known as conservatism or prudence concept. Next is materiality concept. This concept states that only material facts should be presented in books of account. That means we should not waste our effort in recording and presenting immaterial facts. So which is immaterial? That immateriality of fact depends on its nature and the amount involved. If the fact would be considered as material if it is reasonably believed that its knowledge would influence the decision of informed user of financial statements. So ये फैक्ट को हमको कुछ यूज आएगा, ऐसा फैक्ट इज मटेरियल, वी कैन कंसिडर इट एज मटेरियल फैक्ट्स. So unnecessary facts which is not useful for any decision is regarded as immaterial and should not be disclosed. Also only material facts should be disclosed. That is materiality concept. Next is objectivity concept. This concept states that the accounting transaction should be recorded in an objective manner. That means it should be free from bias and errors of accountants and others. This can be possible when each of the transactions is supported by verifiable documents or vouchers. That means accountant or due to their personal interest, they will mix something, some bias may be in the books of account. That should be avoided. It should be perfectly objective. So every transaction, if some documentary proof is there, then we can keep maximum objectivity. So this principle says that we should keep supported vouchers or documents whenever we are recording a transaction in the books of accounts, so that there will not be any personal bias of accountants and others. That is known as objectivity concept. That means the recorded information should be objective, not subjective. Next, so these are the various principles of accounting. Okay, these are the various concepts or principles of accounting. Now we can see the systems of accounting. We are normally following two systems of recording transaction. One is double entry system and other is single entry system, single entry system or double entry system. First we can see what is double entry system. We have already learned one of the important or basic concept, that is dual aspect concept, and double entry system is based on that dual aspect concept. And under dual aspect concept, we learned that every transaction has two effects or two aspects. One is receiving aspects, which is known as debit aspect, and giving aspect, which is known as credit aspect. When we record both of these aspects, that means debit aspect as well as credit aspect in the books of accounts, this is known as double entry system. So double entry system says that both receiving as well as giving aspect should be recorded in the books of account. That means every debit must have a corresponding credit. That is double entry system. Now single entry system. Single entry system, actually we cannot call it as a single entry, but we can say it is an incomplete system. It is a perfectly incomplete system or unscientific. Oh, before that I forgot to say about double entry system. Actually this double entry system is developed and we are following, presently we are following this double entry system of accounting. Okay, so double entry system is very important for us. We are recording our transactions in the books of account by following this double entry system. This system is developed by Luca Pacioli, and we treat him as the father of accounting. Luca Pacioli is treated as father of accounting. Now single entry system, as we already started, it is perfectly incomplete system of maintaining records of financial transaction. It does not record twofold effect of each and every transaction. Instead of maintaining all the accounts, only personal accounts and cash book are maintained under this system. That means for some there will be two entries. For some transaction there will be single entry. That is known as single entry system. It is incomplete as well as unscientific. Okay, these are two systems are there. One is double entry system and other is single entry system. Now the basis of accounting. From the point of view, the timing of recognition of revenue and cost, there are two broad approaches to accounting. There one is cash basis and other is accrual basis. Cash basis and accrual basis. We can see what is cash basis. Under cash basis, entries in the books of accounts are made only when cash is received or paid and not when the receipt or payments become due. That means under cash basis we are recording transaction only when cash is paid or received. Only after realization we are not recording in the books of accounts. Say for example, sales. Suppose you sold goods to A on credit. A बोला बाद में पैसा दिएगा. So उस समय हम पैसा नहीं record कर रहे हैं. When he is paying the cash to us, then only we are recording that transaction, that is cash basis. Okay. And next is accrual basis. Under this system or this basis, we are recording the revenues and costs in the period in which they occur rather than they are paid. कब transaction हो रहा है, whether cash is received or paid, we are recording that transaction in the books of account, that is accrual basis. Okay, that's all students. So now we have discussed what we have discussed. We have discussed the various gap, generally accepted accounting principles and various concepts and conventions. Then systems of accounting as well as basis of accounting. Okay, thank you.